Let's start with Napoleon, shall we? Everyone loves to call him that short guy with a complex, but plot twist, Napoleon wasn't short at all. He was about 5'6", which was average height for men in 1800s France. So where did this short guy legend come from? The British, of course. They were basically history's first trolls, spreading propaganda to make him seem less intimidating. Poor Napoleon was just out here trying to conquer Europe, and history decided to roast his height instead. Now, onto the Vikings. You've probably pictured them storming into battle wearing those epic horned helmets, right? Well, hate to break it to you, but that's a total myth. Horned helmets weren't a thing. They were dreamed up by costume designers in the 19th century for an opera. Real Vikings would have laughed at the idea. They were too busy being practical, wearing sturdy helmets made of leather or metal. Sorry, pop culture, but Vikings didn't have time for fashion statements. Here's a big one. The Great Wall of China. It's so massive, you can see it from space. Yeah, no. That's just another fun-sounding lie that's been passed around. While the wall is ridiculously long, it's too narrow to spot from. Orbit without special equipment. Astronauts have confirmed this. It's like trying to see a strand of hair on a football field. The truth? You can't spot it from space, but it's still an engineering masterpiece. How about the idea that medieval people thought the Earth was flat? That one gets thrown around a lot, but guess what? They didn't. Scholars knew the Earth was round way before the Middle Ages. Even ancient Greeks like Aristotle figured it out centuries earlier. This whole flat Earth thing only became a rumor in the 1800s when writers decided to make the medieval period look extra dumb. Turns out, the Dark Ages weren't so clueless after all. And then we have Marie Antoinette and her infamous "let them eat cake" line. Sounds like the perfect example of royal arrogance, doesn't it? Except she never said it. The phrase was written by a philosopher decades before she was even born, but somehow it got pinned on her. Imagine being remembered for a quote you didn't even say. Talk about bad PR. Now let's talk about Christopher Columbus. Everyone says he was the genius who proved the Earth was round. Wrong again. Most people already knew the Earth was round by the time Columbus set sail. He just thought he could find a shortcut to Asia and ended up in the Americas. Columbus wasn't a brilliant scientist. He was more like that guy who refuses to check Google Maps and accidentally discovers a new coffee shop. And then there's the story about Einstein failing math as a kid. This one's supposed to be inspiring. Hey, even geniuses struggled in school. Except it's totally false. Einstein was a math whiz from a young age. In fact, he once said, "I never failed in mathematics before I was 15. So yeah, this is less underdog genius and more child prodigy doing calculus before puberty. Finally, let's clear up the Salem witch trials. People love to say witches were burned at the stake in Salem, but that's not true. While European witch hunts often ended in flames, the Salem trials were all about hanging. Still horrifying, but it's a different kind of tragedy than the fiery image we've been sold. History is wild, messy, and full of twists, but it's also full of myths that have stuck around for centuries. We believe them because they're dramatic, simple, or just sound cool, but the truth is often way more interesting. So next time, someone drops a fun fact about history, take a moment to question it. You never know what surprising truths you'll uncover.